Hello YouTube and fellow Terminator fans, welcome back to my channel Hello John. I'm your host John. Today's just a quick update on what I'm doing with the hoses on these and some of the pistons, because they're not quite right and Hachette aren't giving us the parts. So as you can see, I've added an extra tube here which they're not giving us, and also an extra tube here which they should have been giving us, and I'll show you how to make that in a second. But it just makes it more movie accurate. There should definitely be one coming out of here and here, but they're not going to do it. And also these springs for the back of the neck. Are you kidding me? He's not a bobblehead, he's a Terminator. So what I've done with mine, I'm building two of these so I can show you that, is just covered them in chromed steel tubing, which I've got from a selfie stick. You know, like these things, extendable magnets. One of those, I use one of those for the smaller parts and a selfie stick for these big parts. And all you do is just get those. You get the piece of the selfie stick that you've cut down, and to cut them down, I'm using one of these, a C-type tube cutter, which you just put in there, and you can customize them and everything with these. They're really clever and they're really cheap. There's about £2 this thing on eBay, and you get a spare blade. Yay! So you're using that. So you basically cut it down to the size. You twist the switch, boom, off it pops. And then with that, you obviously flatten that edge out with a pair of pliers so you can get in there. And then you just put that in and gently tap it down, tick, 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 until it fits all the way in there. So these pistons, they've still got the part for the ball on the bottom there, and the bit for the top, and they just clip in the back. But they're actual pistons, not springs. As soon as I first saw this 2 years ago, I said that we have to change the neck, and that's what I meant by the neck. These bloody pistons on the neck, they just don't look right to me. So I'm definitely customizing mine. Also, what I've done is the ends of these ones that go into the head, I've just added a little bit of extra on there. I'll glue that in place and use nun oil to weather it. So this part here we're making, I mean, all I'm using is it's string that's covered in like a silver foil mesh. So it looks like a cable, but it's not. It's just string. You get it from craft shops and stuff like that. Get whatever size you want, whatever size you think fits. And then you would drill an appropriate hole into here, feed it in, and feed it down into the bottom of the big one. That's where that one goes. This one, which I'm going to remove now, this one feeds into the back half. So you drill another little hole right down here, alongside of that, right down on the join. Just after the join on the back part, you drill another little hole to feed that into. And then you've got all your bits and bobs on there. And that just slots straight into there. I'll glue that in when I come to putting mine together. This is just to show you guys to do it before I put it together. But it gives it so much more realism. So it makes it so much more movie accurate. And also with these, I've cut them in half. So these, I've cut them down the middle, because you just feed them in. They're all just literally cut in half, and you just feed them in. Otherwise, you're pinning them in there, and you've got to try and figure out how to maneuver them, how to pose them. If they're just pushed in, they pose themselves, quite naturally pose themselves, which is what you want. Okay, so making these parts, making one of these, all I've used is this part here, which had the little pins on it. So it's that part. You cut that off from there, so that'll be that part cut off from there, clip, trim that bit off there. Then you can put the long part that you've cut down from the thingy on there, bosh, so that's that part. And then another part on the bottom there. Mark it with a knife, cut that off, drill a hole in there, which is whatever size of this you've got. So you drill in that hole into the bottom there, so that can fit in there. And then you cut that down to size, glue that in, and I'm using nun oil to weather all of mine. A bit of nun oil on there makes it look more like a tube. It's cheap and easy. We're practically using all the same parts. I mean, these I've got from Tesco's for like £1, and you just cut them down. You've got loads and loads and loads of tubing on there if you want to use it for whatever you want, which they're kind of cool. Or you can use it for its intended purpose, which is picking stuff up that's magnetic. Yay! Up to you, don't mind. But if you're going to be doing this, you're going to need something like this, and you're going to need an old selfie stick. I used an old selfie stick that broke while I was skiing. So I thought, oh, I could use that for something else. Brought it home, and that's exactly what I've used it for. Just hammer that bit in there, and they look so much better when they're in. It's just a proper piston. You know, a bit of weathering on it, proper piston, not some spring. That's awful. Right, so guys, crack on with that. See how you get on. But I think it just looks so much more movie accurate to have all these bits in there. Just an extra 2 cables each side. But Hachette are just not going to give them to us. And it does look so much better. Obviously, these need to be non-oiled still. They need to be weathered. Make them look a bit more. And these bits also need to be weathered because they're a bit shiny. But this one I'm doing is I'm going to be selling this one. I'll get rid of this one. This is my practice one. I'll get rid of it. And then I'm having my own one chromed. And obviously it'll be all movie accurate for the stuff I've learned from this one, which has been an awful lot. Okay, you guys crack on with the build. We're getting close to the edge, so close to the finished product. And it is looking beautiful. He's looking so good now. If only they'd chromed him. Oh, he would be a perfect figure. But mine will be great, because that's what I want. Anyway, you guys enjoy the build, you crazy, crazy kids, and I'll see you in the next video. Have fun for now. Bye, bye, bye.